The kind of wealth that you want to build is a long-lasting kind of wealth. But wealth accumulation is not an easy path. It's complicated, competitive, and merciless for whoever dares to walk on it. If you don't know how this path works, then you are bound to fail. Most people's mistakes is working hard all of their life. With only hard work alone, you won't actually ever get wealthy. More often than not, at the end of the journey, you find yourself being poor because you have no clue on how to make more money outside working hard on your 9-to-5 job. In other words, you're not investing your money to generate more money for yourself. That's why you don't nearly have as much as you deserve to have. For the sake of this video, let's take, for example, that you possess $1,000 extra saved in your bank account. You're one of the 30% in America who have at least $1,000 extra in their bank account. Nearly 70% of Americans don't even have $1,000. Instead of using that $1,000 on unnecessary purchases such as the latest gadget or the latest fashionable clothing or shoes that you're just gonna wear a couple of times, let's have that money invested instead. Hi, welcome to Grayson Finance. In today's video, I'm gonna be sharing with you where you should invest in 2022. If you want to invest your extra $1,000, you were then torn about where to put that investment. You'll be thinking about choices like real estate or the stock market. When deciding, there will also be questions that may arise like what stock you should buy with your $1,000, or is your $1,000 even enough to start investing? In order to understand what investment really is and how does it work, you need to take this example. Let's say you manage to save up money amounting to $300,000. With that money, you can visit the Ferrari store and buy a luxurious car from their selection. With that car flaunted, everyone will know that you're successful enough to afford a luxury car. Another choice that you can make is that you can buy real estate, maybe a house, and rent it out. With your real estate being rented out, you receive $2,000 on a monthly basis from your tenants. After you're done renting out your real estate property, you can also have it sold and get back the investment you spent on the house fully. You can even earn a profit from your real estate if it appreciates in value and you end up selling it at a higher price. With this method, you manage to earn money through your money. But what if you only have $1,000 on you? Surely your $1,000 cannot afford to purchase a real estate. It won't even be near enough to pay for the property's down payment. However, don't worry. You can always invest your money elsewhere. Probably the easiest way that you can have your money grow is by putting it in your savings account and let it generate interest. But if you're gonna ask why would a bank pay for your interest when in fact you should be paying them for keeping your money, there is a simple answer. The bank will actually have your money loaned to someone else with a higher rate. The profit earned by the bank in lending that money will be shared with you. This is how the bank works in its very simplicity. While this strategy is the easiest if you want to start investing, the downside is that the interest is extremely low in this method, which is why it's never worth investing your money this way. The highest interest rate you can get is 0.8%, which means that after 12 months of investing, your $1,000 will only get $8 back. The FED targets an inflation rate of 2 to 3%. Having your invested money not even getting this percent in minimum means that the money you invested in the bank is bound to depreciate. While having your money invested in a savings account is highly discouraged, there's another option for you to try in investing, and that is by buying government bonds. If you're unfamiliar with government bonds, it is a security issued by the government in order to raise money to be able to support government spending. For a simplified example, let's take, for instance, the government wants to build a school but lacks funds to do so. So, it issues an IOU, which states that whoever owns the security is owned by the government a certain amount of money with interest added. Government funds are greatly influenced by interest rates. Interest rates this year are extremely low because of the pandemic. Back when interest rates were high, however, they could go up to 3%, which is not entirely bad considering that government bonds are the safest kind of investment you can ever do. While it is true that all kinds of investments are accompanied by risks of a certain level, risks on this kind of investment that involves the US government itself are very low. If you're not satisfied with the low return in government bonds and want to be able to get returns as high as 10, 20, or even 30%, then consider investing it in the stock market. Let's take, for example, Google's stock price increased by almost 30% in 2021. Amazon's stock price increased by 80%, and Tesla's increased by a whopping 721%. Now, you might be wondering that with this much money that you can earn in the stock market, probably capable of doubling or tripling your money, why isn't everyone investing in it? Well, with great possible profit comes a great level of risk too. While a government bond is a risk-free to a certain extent, individual companies, on the other hand, are accompanied by possibilities like negative earnings and worse, failure. This kind of negative news for the company drives the stock prices down. For example, a company launches a product that is not well received by the public and makes negative headlines. The situation at hand will inevitably decrease the stock price of that company. Apple is a large company that has a lower chance of failing compared to Tesla. However, the former has a lesser room to grow than the latter. That explains why, in 2021, Tesla grew 721% and Apple only 80%. Before investing, one thing that you need to think about thoroughly is the amount of risk that you can only accommodate. Investing your $1,000 may not be the wisest decision to make if that's the only money you have left and leaves you with nothing if bad situations were to arise. But there's actually a way to minimize risks in the stock market, and that is investing in the index. The most famous one that you can find is the SP 500, which basically tracks the top 500 companies. Simply put, an index fund would invest in these top 500 companies. Surely, in this number, some companies will inevitably fail and some will surely grow. Looking at the past data, the average return rate from SP 500 is 10%. Basically, buying a share of these index funds means that you are indirectly buying a tiny share from the top 500 US companies. Other index funds that you can invest in are the VOO, QQQ, and the FZROX. Now, you might be wondering where to start if you want to invest in these index bonds. Well, first you need to find a broker, someone qualified to sell you stocks. In our age, we can find brokers to sell us stocks by just conveniently using our smartphones. Brokerage firms created apps like Robinhood or Webull that gives you the convenience of buying stocks anytime and anywhere. All you need to do is download the app, sign up, and immediately start investing. There are many places to start investing, but it's important to remember that it's all up to you, so don't let anyone dictate it unless you're comfortable. Thanks so much for watching! I hope you found this video helpful as a guide to starting on your investments right away. Make sure to press like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to keep you updated on new helpful videos just like this one.